r/AskReddit, what widely accepted self-help books are actually harmful or just nonsense? Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, by John Gray. The podcast If Books Could Kill did a great episode on this one. Listening to it was like therapy. When Mars and Venus was being shoved down everyone's throats in the 90s, I felt like I was living in Crazy Town. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. At best, and being very generous, it contains some very basic solid financial advice. You know, make sure your income is more than your expenses. But the rest of it? Pure garbage. No one should follow his advice. The Secret. I tried to join a coven once and the leader loved this book, made us watch the movie. And I was like, so, disabled people, people living in poverty, assault survivors, you're saying those situations are their fault because they manifested it? She said yes, and that was the day I decided to quit. Anything by L. Ron Hubbard. Scientology. Many medical establishment approved books about chronic pain are just about shutting up and not bothering people about it. Or they effectively say we're not saying it's in your head, it's in your head. Girl, Go Wash Your Face. By Rachel Hollis. So terrible and so out of touch. If you're looking for self-help, why would you read a book written by somebody else? That's not self-help, that's help. There's no such thing as self-help. If you did it yourself, you didn't need help. Try to pay attention to the language we've all agreed on. George Carlin. Amusing. It took reading a few how to get rich books to figure out that probably the best way to get rich is to write a how to get rich book. Then I never did, because I don't have the gall. Dianetics. Any Cure X Disease Naturally book. They usually have a handful of half-truths and a heaping dollop of garbage that might hurt you. Louise Hay. Basically she says you're not sick, you just think you're sick. Laughs in Multiple Sclerosis. The Art of the Deal. Just BS and writer is not credible. Gotta part company with you here. Tony Schwartz seems pretty credible, in that he has acknowledged that he basically wrote a work of fiction. The Secret. It's literally the just world fallacy. Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, by John Gray. She was also talking so much with her husband about how they have an amazing marriage and giving advice on how to have an amazing marriage. And then they announce they're getting divorced. Baby-wise. My friend almost starved her child to death doing this. Her milk dried up. Oh yeah, that was the book that I flung across the room before I finished reading it. It recommended spanking literal infants. I highly recommend the podcast If Books Could Kill. It deep dives into self-help books, and other so-called airport books, and highlights how bad they really are. Charting Your Way to Success, a 6-step program for financial independence. I was in the middle of a cough when I read this and it turned into a weird groan cackle laugh. Thank you for this. Everything by Paul Coelho. Are you sad? Don't be sad. Do you have debts? Just pay them off. Are you tired? Just take a break. He had a couple of bangers though, Veronica Decides to Die and The Devil and Miss Prym. Probably two of his lesser known books, but they're both excellent. Also not super preachy. Anything related to that twin flames nonsense. Any of the marriage advice that tell the cheated on partner to own their part of why the cheater cheated, to make the marriage a safe place for the cheater, the 180, etc. That weird ass book Steve Harvey released, something like Talk Like a Woman, Think Like a Man, was so fucking odd to read some of his analogies, referring to vaginas as cookies and that if a woman doesn't suck her man's dick every night she deserves to get cheated on. I read a self-help book backwards, now I am a loser, please help. From the Christian publishing sphere. Love and Respect. Every Man's Battle. Power of a Praying Wife. Lies Women Tell Themselves. And many more. To Raise Up a Child, Dr. Beatings. Polythene Pipe recommended. Created to be his helpmeet, women aren't really people, do anything your husband wants sexually whenever he wants, except anal. If he's into it, he's gay, and if you're into it, you're also somehow gay. Both written by the same deviants. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is supposedly about financial freedom, actually shames the poor and, paraphrasing here, basically asserts that if someone is poor it is because they are stupid and therefore they deserve to be poor. Now if you can get past that blatantly classist mentality, there are a few financial pearls of wisdom in there. But those are lost in the degradation and victim blaming. Advice on Reddit. I saw people advising opt to visit an actual doctor ASAP 4 times today. Some advice is sound. The rules. The secret: man is a cult leader and responsible for the death of one of his followers on a wellness retreat. And GT, the secret: man is a cult leader. Isn't the author a woman? The art of not giving a fuck, or whatever it's called. Tried, unhelpful. Ahahaha, my mom sent me this after a breakup. It was ridiculous. I think that, while nothing inside of it is groundbreaking, and there are multiple points that I don't agree with, it has some really good points. The idea that while you are not at fault for what happens to you, but you are responsible for how you deal with it has been pretty helpful to me. The concept of creating values that are good and healthy is important. If you can get past the dumb no fucks given shell, there's some helpful advice in there. Dianetics. Dianetics, aka, how to give yourself false memories and delusions. Also, L. Ron Hubbard had some fucked up ideas about women wanting abortions, and was just casually homophobic. There's a pretty good podcast on just this subject. If Books Could Kill, with Michael Hobbs and another host whose name escapes me at the moment. The focus is on airport books, the fad bestsellers that you'll pick up for a long flight. Oftentimes they're talking about just dumb factor, but they try to hit on harmful aspects too. Titles include The Secret and Men Are From Mars. My first assumption was that Up is either Peter or Michael looking for book recommendations for their next episode. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again. Reddit glitch out.